Welcome to Own It, and our second installment in our mini-series we are calling My First Million. Today we are spending time with Amanda Lee, a top producer with the Avenue Home Collective in San Diego, who was encouraged to shed her corporate suit and high heel fake persona for her true self, a Jordan-wearing, dog-loving, energetic self. What came from embracing her authenticity was quite frankly the law of attraction, and her book of business flourished. Let's hear how Amanda was able, and you can replicate this, reached her first million in commission income in a short couple of years.
In order to be successful in your own right, you need to be able to want to serve other people and help people find out how to fix their problems versus, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to see what can benefit me. I still do a lot of work for free for the right people because I think that there's value in their time. I think there's value in being around them, feed off of their energy and understand their mindset and optimism around growing and personal growth.
Welcome to Own It. I'm Hillary Saunders on this special episode with my Born Ready co-host, Spencer Kroll. Welcome to How I Made My First Million.
Hello, Hillary. I'm also, these are so inspiring, but also getting a lot of practical information from it. I'm shocked and amazed at how these things get broken down. And we have an amazing guest today.
We do. Amanda Lee from the Avenue Home Collective in sunny San Diego. Welcome to Own It, Amanda. It's so good to see you and talk with you today.
Thank you, guys. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited to spend a little time with you today.
This is a really cool series and episode because there are tactical and practical things that you're going to get out of our conversation. So I want to dive right in just with a general question. Was making $1 million in GCI, so gross commission income, was that ever a goal of yours your first year? Did you even consider that to be a goal? Or what was your mental space your first year?
This is such a great question. To answer it, frankly, absolutely not. The $1 million, I feel like, is definitely a buzzword. You see it through real media like TV, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, just social media. And for me, I never once had that on my list of goal setting, mostly because my relationship with money was very different. I came from, I'm a child of immigrants. Both my parents immigrated here from a communist country. So they came here literally building from scratch. Not a single word of English they knew. And yet they gave me and my brother the opportunities that we need so we didn't have to work as hard. And I grew up my entire life thinking 100K is an amazing amount of money. So that actually was the number that I actually had in mind. But real estate is magical. It builds wealth for people that are working in it, that are purchasing it too. So I do think it came as maybe something that trickled down after I put my main goals of serving my community, helping as many families as I can, being a real asset to changing people's lives. And then the wealth came after. So that's pretty much it. I never had, on my vision board, millionaire. I think for me, I didn't even have that even in my peripherals.
Yeah, I don't even have a vision board.
I was going to say, what was on your vision board that first year?
Vision board first year. Yes. So we were tasked to actually cut out magazines at a brokerage, the Avenue Home Collective. So it was a really great activity we got to do. Mine was, it was actually to get Rookie of the Year, to serve. I think my first year, my goal was to serve 20 families. I served 24 families, and you'll see that be a pattern throughout all of my verbiage. It's not, I hit this much in volume. It's, I served this many families. And that was exactly what was on my vision board. I think I was traveling to Vietnam that same year. So I was hoping to have a great trip with my friends and family. But other than that, should I put millionaire, like multi-millionaire, billionaire now on our vision boards? But it was mostly just to even find my footing in such a new industry where honestly, everybody doubted me. I think I even doubted myself too.
Do you think that if you did put you served 20 families, you were saying, do you think if you put down 500,000 that you would have hit that if that were on your board? Is that something that was within your grasp, or did you have to really take a complete change in your mental attitude?
I think that I was It's interesting because my relationship with money had to go through a real development my first year, from being like, oh, okay, hey, six figures is a lot of money. And then having a business coach telling me, no, I do think you have to raise that goal to 500K GCI as a goal. And I was like, coach, what? My parents never even made that in 40, 50 years at the same company. What do you mean I can do that? And he's like, you're thinking way too small. And sometimes
That's a scary concept.
right?
It's a scary concept. I think when someone tells you, no, you can think bigger, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. How did you get comfortable with being uncomfortable?
That's the daily of real estate. I think that we take on so many people's stresses in different times that we have to constantly be uncomfortable, and just being able to know that change is something that is a signifier that you're going to grow into your next level, into your next chapter. I think this is something my coach always tries to remind me. It's like my affirmation. I am blessed even when I'm not blessed. Even when shit is hitting the fan, I'm so excited to see how I'll come up from this. It's kind of like when a friend breaks up with a significant other. It's like, I know you can't see it right now, but honestly, I'm really excited for your glow up. I'm really excited to see how you come out of this. And being able to adapt is something that is you can't avoid it in real estate, especially with all the times changing too.
So, I mean, did you have setbacks while you were going to the, well, two questions for you. I'm sorry. So the first one is, you did set a goal then. So you did set this as a goal of, all right, so what did you put in place to make it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. What steps did you take? What did you actually do?
Absolutely. So I think it's knowing your numbers so crystal clear and reverse engineering that. So in the beginning, my first year was make 100K, make that six-figure amount that my parents thought was, really phenomenal and equated to success. All right. So what did that need to do? So 100K in California, the average commission check is going to be about 10 to 12 for my price point. So that means I have to do 10 transactions a year. How much does that equate to in a month? So in order to get to that transaction count per month, how many conversations do I need to have in order to get to that escrow? And my number was 12 conversations a day. So if I went ahead and put that goal of, hey, I need to conversate about real estate with 12 different people every single day, I track it super simply on a Google Sheet. That was exactly how I measured if I was going to be successful or not. I think it's way too common to fall into I don't have one escrow right now. I suck as an agent.
Yeah.
Wrong with me. But really, what we should be measuring is the things that are getting us to our goal, but you can't really see if it's happening yet, right? Like the good analogy that I've heard before is a surfer never wonders if they're a good surfer when they're just like waiting for the waves. They're waiting for the next wave to come and they're just paddling and paddling. They never think, oh my God, am I a shitty surfer? The next wave's not coming. And it's the same thing with these people, right? We just have to wait for the next wave to come. As long as we're paddling and getting our skills right, then we'll be sure to reach our goal and ride that next wave.
Wow. I have so much more respect now for Jeff Spicoli. Were you
I
know,
right?
Were you a surfer?
So
I'm not a surfer. No,
I'm not either. This isn't me, but I love that.
I swim. That's it. But
okay.
You touched on something that I want to ask a follow-up question to, which is you had your goal that you wrote down. You said, I'm going to have 12 conversations about real estate a day.
Yes.
What did those conversations look like? Did you pick up the phone? Did you shoot text messages? Were you in the line at the grocery store talking to the person next to you? What did you do?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. I don't know that I know 12 times 30 people.
It's a lot. And I pride myself on being honestly the best friend or the sister in real estate. So it's never like high pressure sales. I was cold calling when I came out the womb. No, I had a lot of sales and marketing training. So I hit the phones when I was doing other roles. And I learned that I hated that. Now, in order to reach those 12 conversations a day, I mostly did it through social media and understanding that my strongest follow-up game was being present and showing people what I was doing, showing people my journey. And I verbatimly say, thank you for thinking of me in a conversation of real estate. Are they mentioning me? Maybe not, maybe yes, but it just puts a little seed in their head like, oh, okay, I will think of you, just because you said that. And then from there, it's kind of spread out, whether it's through referral, word of mouth, sphere of influence. I do oftentimes just genuinely think of people and I'm genuinely curious about their lives. So if I see a video, hey, about that dog, I'm gonna message it to you. By the way, like what's up? Are you still going to be upsizing next summer? Just kind of switch it in the most casual way. And I find that most people don't even realize that it switches into a conversation about real estate. They just ultimately want to talk to me about that.
It's so different, for people. Like when I first started, there wasn't social media, so you actually had to talk to people. And I was
there
door
weren't
knocking.
Computers when you first started.
But there were computers. You just had to put the tape in and.
I'm just being mean.
You are being mean. It's okay. So it's amazing that you can have these conversations that way. And you figured out how to make them meaningful. Did it take you a long time to learn how to craft them or to get your message across? Like were you just shooting the market first?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of reps, and I kind of combined the sales process, the tried and true stuff you both know, compared with what works in day-to-day interactions on social media too. So I always say it does not go down in the DMs. Take it to a phone call or a text message right away. Nobody really, I've honestly had some interesting conversations through DMs, but typically when you're having professional business transactions, you want to take it to the phone call. Honestly, a good excuse is, hey, I'm not checking Instagram every single minute, but I'm very active on my text messages. Let me text you. What's your number? Super casual. I never am like, oh, let me just follow up with you because you want to be followed up with. And they're just like, whoa, I don't want that. So I think it's all about how you word things based on who you're talking to. That's the biggest thing too. Are you using emojis when they're using emojis? And it's not just acting like you're that person. It's really being genuinely curious about them and writing stuff down and memorizing it. If you remember that their dog's name is Maya and they're an Aussie doodle that, goes on a walk every single day, send them a video on Instagram Reels about that. They're going to love you.
I wonder who's listening to this. I have an
Aussie doodle. His name is Joey.
Oh no, Joe!
You didn't write it down right, Amanda. You didn't write it down right.
I was close. I was mixing it up. We actually have a dog named Joey in our family too, so that's so cute. Big fan of it.
I want to follow up with something also because being authentic, right? So is going to help you find your client thing, and you're known. I know you were. I think you were talking to Hillary about this at one point about how you would dress up and get ready in like a business suit or something like that, and how that just was not you. And then you kind of found your way that you were going to present. What sort of difference did that make in your business?
Absolutely. So I feel like the branding story that's behind a lot of what I do is that I was dressing up in heels in a suit to go to showings. And to be honest, I'm like the comfort girl through and through. You will find me quickly switch into sweats. So when I was in the office, I was complaining to my broker, Melissa, hey, I don't want to change into heels. Like I always keep a pair of heels in the trunk. And she said, well, why do you want to change into heels? And I was like, well, I'm going to meet this client and I want them to look at me as a professional, right? That means I'm 5 foot. I need to be a little bit taller, whatever I thought in that moment that a professional real estate agent looks like, right? And she said, well, do you really want people to judge you and work with you for what's on your feet? And I said, you know what? You got a really good point. So I wore my Jordans to that showing. Turns out the same client was wearing the same exact shoes. And it made me feel like, whoa, what kind of limiting beliefs do you have in your own head? And maybe what are you unhappy with yourself? Is there something within yourself that you haven't accepted yet? And once I leaned into that, guys, I don't know if there's anyone who hasn't achieved that authenticity level within their social media, within their branding yet, but the community that wants you, that loves you, will find you. Interestingly enough, I posted like I was going to a Pilates class, right? And I was like, hey, you know what? Taking care of myself. Look at me. I'm not missing a Pilates class. Not missing my nail appointments, right? And a $5 million seller replied to that and said, hey, I want to go to a Pilates class with you. By the way, I've been thinking about selling. And guess what? I go to her house for the listing appointment. She's wearing purple Crocs. Purple Crocs, like shoes that I wear to the grocery store. So it's like once you lean into who you actually are, you become very magnetic. And the clients that honestly value you, value your time, value your boundaries, value the fact that you want to go to a Pilates class, they start showing themselves in your life. And once I started working with them, I was like, hey, I want to work with people that respect me, that love me versus the ones who will take advantage, try to cut my commission. I rarely get, hey, can you cut your commission? Hey, I don't want to sign this buyer agreement, because at the end of the day, my people, they work with me because they love me and I love them too.
That's a really hard, that is a hard concept to grasp as a new-ish agent, because most agents are just looking at the paycheck. It's feast or famine, right?
Right.
How were you able to let go of feeling like you had to fit in a box? Did you have a really good mentor that you leaned on? Did you have a team that you worked with? What was it that you got to be able to do by letting that kind of stereotypical facade go?
Yeah. And so I think you hit the nail on the head. I had an amazing mentor who still consistently is not afraid to shine. And I mean shine in a quite literal way. You probably will see her in like sparkly suits all day long. So I actually found Melissa Sophia through an Instagram post. And she, interestingly enough, was rolling up in her Tesla, rolling out a red carpet, super odd for a key day, kind of. It was like a little extra, but I mean, she's known to be a little extra. And that's kind of what attracted me towards her in the beginning. She was making it special for their clients in her own way too. So I cold called her, cold called out of the womb, right? And got me an interview with her. And she was a tried and true example of, hey, she's very extra. If I am just pretty normal, but myself, I will still find the community that I want to. And it just was a good example for me to follow through, and for someone to actually tell me, hey, you can be yourself and still have success in business. So she was very, very pivotal to finding my authenticity very early on in my career. And I think that's why I found success too. I think also, a lot of agents have to keep in mind that in order to get that mentorship, you actually have to be a huge asset to them. Who is going to teach you for free, right? There's a lot of new agents that seem very entitled. It is feast or famine, but have you done the work to set yourself up to truly dive in to serve? Or are you just in it for the paycheck? Are you just in it for the glitz and glamour and the performativeness, right? And I think that I set myself up so I could genuinely not make money for a year. The numbers, the profit was never once in my head. I was like, hey, this is a successful agent. How can I help her? Is it through social media? Is it through helping through a client appreciation? I got time. She doesn't have time. How can she teach me and I become an asset to her team?
I think that I just want to underline that piece, because that's something that's very interesting. And you've said it twice now in two different contexts, which is, how can I serve? How can I help somebody? So rather than looking through, the top agents in a particular office and look at them of what can I learn from them? It's how can I help them? And then I will like sponge, right? Like I will learn all the things, and this person will teach me through osmosis, through me being there. But also then you flip side it, and you're looking at clients not like as a paycheck, but how can I help them achieve their goal, right? Yeah. Like, where did you learn that service mentality? It seems counterintuitive almost.
Interesting. That's I think that I was born with the DNA to want to please other people. Now, this can be a double-edged sword, guys. I was born to please my parents, please my family, please my significant other, please the people I worked with at corporate, please my clients. So I think that selfishness can be a power if used in the correct ways. So I genuinely was like, hey, of course I want to be successful. Of course I see so much potential for myself. But I know that these people took 20 years, 2 decades to get to where they are. How can they trust me, open up the curtain and give me their secret sauce? And I found it that there are many agents that come to me with the with the selfish mindset, to be honest. And I can see right through it. And at the end of the day, a lot of us don't have time for that. Of course, we want to mentor. Of course, it fills my cup to do that. But when I see that someone comes in with a selfish mindset, it may be a signifier that they are not going to do well in this people industry we call real estate, because we're constantly taking on the stress of other people. We are paid that much. We are paid the big bucks because I literally say in buyer consults, like, let me take the stress from you. That's why art surgeons are paid more than doctors, right? They take on way more stress, right? And so at the end of the day, I think that in order to be successful in your own right, you need to be able to want to serve other people and help people find out how to fix their problems versus, oh, I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to see what can benefit me.
Right.
Do a lot of work. I still do a lot of work for free for the right people because I think that there's value in their time. I think there's value in being around them. And you're right, through osmosis. I love that. Just being able to feed off of their energy and understand their mindset and optimism around growing and personal growth.
I want to ask about the flip side of this too, though, because you talk about setting boundaries, right? And I mean, a lot of agents are like, I'm going to work 24/7 for you, and then you have no time for anything.
Yeah.
So did you have to learn to set boundaries? Did you feel guilty about setting boundaries at first or anything? Or
absolutely. Do you see me like nervously smile, like awkwardly smile? Because I'm still working through it. Definitely just being a hustler. I identified as a hustler my first couple years. But let me just say, being a hustler is very tiring. It's very tiring being available for everyone, pouring into everyone else's cup until mine was empty. So my next chapter, the next phase of my life, I said, you know what, for once, I know it's in your DNA. I know it's in your DNA to just want to give to people, to want to please people. But for once, how about we try pouring in our own cup first? How about we try making sure we're hitting those Pilates classes, workout classes? How about we try making sure that we are setting the appropriate amount of vacations per year? And then we're serving people and growing our business at the same time. So I am making sure, I like to call it, I'm in my soft girl era now. Interestingly enough, once I entered that soft girl era, I had 3 of the best months of my entire career. And I think it's because I attracted people who are also in that era, who are usually successful, who are usually entrepreneurs, running their own businesses as well. So I think it's really about setting boundaries. I tell my clients straight up, if you are stressed about something late at night when you're overthinking, text me. I will reply in the appropriate amount of time. I'm trying to set my own boundaries so I can be at my best for you. I straight up set the expectation at the very first conversation. Before, I was like, I joked that I respond way too fast. I still might joke about it now. But my clients understand and they actually say, like, what are your business hours? Like, I don't want to bother you. So being able to, 1, show you are available, but 2, show that you really value your time and your own relaxation. Because once you get true rest, that's when you can be at your best for your clients.
There's something that I think is super important to share, and that is how you figured out who the clients are that you want to work with. Like, we all have a sweet spot. Mine was estate planning and probate clients, right? Like, my sweet spot, was helping people through that, and that translated into real estate because that was my big passion. And I know you have a passion for home ownership and sharing how to build generational wealth, but starting at a younger age to benefit from it. So how did you, one, figure out who you wanted to work with? And is that still your ideal client profile, or has it morphed?
So that's a great question. And I think that every new agent should do this. It's kind of like an avatar workshop. It's really getting into the mind and the head of what your ideal client is thinking. And it branches off. So first you think about who that person is. Then you think about what their lifestyle is like. Then you think about what objections do they have in their specific life. From there, every single objection, that was for me a social media post, right? Oh, rates are too high. Oh, I don't have a a down payment. I need gift funds for my parents. Oh, my dog doesn't have room to run in the backyard, right? And I tailored that to my avatar. So I found early on my avatar was dinks, double income, no kids, with dogs. Must have must have the dog. I'm just kidding. But most of them actually were looking for homes for their dogs, and I'm not opposed to that. I found that that's actually what I was as well in the moment. And it's not always who you are, what you're going through, but it's who you're passionate about. Most of my clients are really passionate about their community. A lot of them are AAPI because I understand the trials and tribulations that a lot of our culture has had to go through to achieve home ownership. Most of them are really sharp and decisive. So it's like not even just who they are, but how they think. How do they make decisions? Now, how do I reach them? Right. So I use that objection handler as literally content ideas, and you could probably see it throughout my social media. Now that has shifted, and interestingly enough, my lifestyle has shifted too. That has shifted to the move up buyer, the person who is probably selling their condo townhome to get that single family home. They either want to build an ADU for multi-generational living, and funny enough, that is exactly what I'm doing too. So who better to tell them than someone who has literally gone through it? And I think that brought a lot of credibility to the table as well. So yeah, being able to hone in on who you like and who you love to work with is key to making sure that your branding also aligns with that. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to target just a double income, no kids. What about the people with kids? Are they going to reach out to me? Absolutely. They're going to still reach out to you. They just see that you're confident in your branding and you have the track record to prove it.
Yeah, I think it's
a real direct messaging, I think, right? And it resonates with you in your time of your life, right? Your season of your life. So I think that's a really good tactical thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it keeps you from wasting time also, because you're building in an affinity. It's like people, some people work at church, or a house of worship or something. Or I have a friend who gets all of his business because he plays softball. He's on all these different softball teams, and his clients are all people that play softball. And they go through their life cycle. They have the kids and they have to sell again. They have, whatever it is that they're doing. So, we're close to the end. I have question, I guess. What would you tell someone does come up to you and let's say that they approach you with the idea of service, right? So there's someone that you do want to talk to. What would you tell them that let's say that they're in the business for a bit and they say, I want to make $1 million. Is there something that you would recommend, like 3 things or whatever it would be, you would recommend to them?
Yes. So great goal. I love that they're thinking big. I think we need to change that goal into how you can serve as well. So translate it into, I want to serve 10 families in my region, or I want to host 3 events for the community. So I think that goal also needs to be trickled out. It's big, but it can be broken down into chunks. So how much is that per month? How much is that per week? And then per day, what do you need to be doing? I also would urge them to really look inwards and think about how their goals are affecting their daily life. I find that a lot of new agents, they have a goal of, after I got Rookie of the Year, I had heard a lot of agents like, I want to also be Rookie of the Year. And I was like, guys, I didn't even know Rookie of the Year was a thing until I achieved the 24 transactions my first year. I think we need to first serve, then serve ourselves, right? It's not about just being in a community where it's just boasting. And I honestly think that the real estate industry needs to change a lot in this sense. A lot of people are doing performative things and really don't have a rich life. Yes, they show that they are rich on social media, but they're not rich in real life. So that's another tip is stop looking out the window and get into the mirror. It is so easy to get lost in what other agents are doing, the escrows that they have, the car that they're driving, the team that they have. But what really matters if you look in the mirror and you find that, oh, hey, I actually need to grow in this way personally, because your business growth will never exceed your personal growth. You first need to look inwards for that.
I think the one thing also that is key, and I'm I'm betting you would agree, is to find your people, find your tribe, find the team to be a part of that is like-minded, but that pushes you and is inspirational and can catch you when you fall, but is are your people, right? Like that's, I think, because there's an imposter syndrome if you're in the wrong community. There is it's always a keeping up appearances, if you will, but coming and figuring out your authentic self is important as well, I would say.
That's huge. You know what? My first ever side-by-side conference, I saw a guy come out in a hoodie and sneakers. I was like, this is my people. Like, this is my community. And then I spoke with you, Hillary, on stage wearing my sneakers. I was like, girl's also wearing her sneakers too. And she has purple hair and pink eyeshadow. Like, come on now. Like, you genuinely, it's an affirmation that you can visually see. Hey, if you're yourself, you can have these roles. We're breaking all these type of limiting beliefs, these barriers that have been instilled with us since we were young children, that, you know what, you can genuinely look inwards and be yourself and be successful. And I think that you guys are a perfect example of that too.
Well, I'm so afraid to ask what you think when you see me, but so we're not going to go there.
You're the smartest person I know.
Oh, bless you.
You are the one who puts out all the fires. And I always say to Mel, like, wow, Spencer is so smart. I wish my brain was as big as yours, sir.
Oh, bless you. Well, now my mother has something to be proud of when she listens to this. This is absolutely amazing. I'm going to do Hillary's gig right now. I'm going to say, so tell us, where can people reach you if they want to know about you or your Instagram, and where can they learn more about you?
Absolutely. So my Instagram is Amanda May Lee. May is spelled MEI. That is what my Instagram, TikTok, all of that. Also, I'm available whenever you see me at any side-by-side events. Come through, talk to me. I love making those in-person interactions. And if you guys have any people buying, selling, investing in San Diego, you already know where to go.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for spending time with us today. I appreciate it. And I love watching you on your journey. And it's going to be so much fun to see what you do next.
It was an honor. Thanks for having me, guys.
We'll see you on another episode of Own It. Have you ever dreamed of owning an income property? Well, next time on Own It, we chat with Brian Tran, founder of 50 Hills Real Estate. He breaks down the mythical barriers of entry into building generational wealth and explains in clear, repeatable steps how we all can start building our own real estate portfolios, regardless if we are owners or renters. This episode is going to be fire. Don't miss it.